Welcome to our channel. Have you ever imagined that just one sentence before your last breath could turn an entire family upside down, tear apart all relationships, and expose layers of morality that have been hidden for decades? Be prepared, because the story you are about to read is not for the faint-hearted. A shocking secret, a shocking confession, and an unstoppable storm that will sweep away all trust, affection, and honor. The story below reveals the truth behind a seemingly perfect family where love, betrayal. She opened her lips and uttered a confession that left Anita speechless. Martin might not be Ted's biological son. The son that Ted loved so much, the family's sole heir, might not have his blood in him, but the result of an illicit affair that Nicole, the woman who always wore a coat of impeccable morality, had hidden for more than 20 years. The shock made Anita stand there as if petrified, her heart pounding as memories that she had thought she had forgotten suddenly came rushing back like a flood. She remembered the times Nicole had avoided mentioning the time of Martin's birth, the cold look in her eyes whenever Ted mentioned having more children, the unexplained arguments between Sharon and Nicole in the early years of Nicole and Ted's marriage. Now, it could all be explained in a single sentence: Martin was the result of betrayal. Immediately after Sharon's death, Anita fell into a state of internal panic. But the more she tried to keep it hidden, the more the secret smoldered in her mind, threatening to sweep away any remaining reason. Meanwhile, Martin lived in a false sense of security, unaware of the earthquake that was lurking to destroy the foundation of his life. He continued to take over his father's business in the family business, still innocently calling Ted his father, still loving him wholeheartedly, not knowing that his fatherly love might just be a sophisticated layer of lies woven by selfishness and fear. Anita, torn between duty and loyalty, began to secretly investigate Nicole's past. She flipped through old diaries, searched through time-stained photos, and then a photo of Nicole and a strange man at an art workshop years ago struck her like lightning. That man, Derek, a famous painter of the time, who had an ambiguous relationship with Nicole in the past. According to the few remaining pieces of information, Derek had disappeared from town right after Nicole suddenly announced her pregnancy, for an unclear reason. From here, fearing the loss of everything, her reputation, her family, her respect, chooses to remain silent and pushes Derek out of her life. Soon after, she marries Ted and makes everyone believe that the child in her womb is the crystallization of their love. The confirmation of the truth leaves Anita stunned. Martin might lose all faith in life, and the family's reputation would be irreparably damaged. But if she continued to remain silent, she would live in torment forever, carrying a burden she could not let go of. After many sleepless nights, Anita chose the most dangerous path, taking Ted to Derek so that he could feel the truth for himself. But then, when he saw the DNA evidence that Derek had secretly made after secretly taking a hair sample from Martin, he could no longer deny it. The naked truth was like a sharp knife cutting deep into his heart. The son he raised, educated, and passed on his career to did not have his blood at all. From that moment, everything changed. Ted withdrew from work, avoided everyone, and cut off all contact with Nicole, the wife who had deceived him for decades. Martin. He fell into a state of severe depression. The mother he always respected turned out to be a liar. The father he admired no longer looked at him the same. He lost his direction, lost his faith, and no longer knew where to lean on. Nicole tried to save things with excuses, saying that she did everything because of love, because she was afraid of losing her stable life with Ted. But every explanation now was like pouring oil on the fire. The family that was once an ideal model is now broken like a broken picture, unable to be repaired. Anita, despite being the one who unearthed the shocking secret, now cannot escape the coldness of her relatives. Martin blamed her for ruining his life. Ted avoided her because he thought she had betrayed his trust. Meanwhile, Derek, who had been pushed out of his own child's life, now wants to make up for it. He approached Martin, trying to build a father-son relationship, but Martin was not ready. He felt confused, as if his entire life had been a lie, and now the audience had left, leaving him alone on the empty stage. The months that followed were a series of endless internal struggles. Ted struggled with the pain of betrayal. Nicole lived in isolation and regret. Martin tried to find himself again. But every step was filled with fragments of memories. Anita continued to live, carrying a sense of guilt that could not be shaken off. And Sharon, though dead, left a legacy that devastated an entire generation with just one final confession, a truth too terrible to forgive, too late to save, but too real to deny. No one expected that just one sentence from a dying woman could lead to such a tragic chain of events. A secret buried deep in the dark for 2 decades. A child who does not belong to the father who loved him unconditionally, a mother with a saintly face hiding an unforgivable sin. But left behind a living hell with no way out. And you think it's over? No. Each character in this story is facing more cruel choices than ever. The truth is revealed. But will anyone be brave enough to face it? Will they forgive, heal, or continue to fall into the spiral of hatred and suffering? Secrets never stop flowing under the ice of a seemingly perfect family, and sometimes, the truth is the gateway to hell. Suffering?